Oh, hell yeah.
This is Dubs OT.
Can't wait.
With John Dickinson.
Hey, JD, what you up to, sugar? Long time no talk to.
On KNBR 104.5 and 6.8. Streaming live at KNBR.com and on the KNBR app.
Steph on a relocate. Watson flew by him. Curry, he's fouled as he hits the field goal. Do you think he wants this one? They've been dropping like flies all game. He's screaming on him, too. He was calling for the foul, but somehow he still concentrates. Double team, just goes right under it, right in between, splits them.
Steph Curry wanted this game. Draymond Green wanted this game. Jimmy Butler wanted this game. And Steve Kerr wanted this game, along with the rest of the Golden State Warriors, and they would get it as they beat the Denver Nuggets for the first time in nearly 3 years. You have to go all the way back to the 2022 playoffs. The Nuggets sweeping the Warriors in each of the last two season series. They won the first two of three head-to-head matchups this season. But the Warriors, despite the 6-game road trip, despite the second of a back-to-back, and not playing a game in Chase Center in over 2 weeks, the Warriors come out led by Steph Curry, aided by Draymond Green and Jimmy Butler, along with Brandon Pajemski and so many other heroes for the Warriors in this one. They take down the Nuggets. 118-104 is the final. We welcome you in to Dubs OT with JD John Dickinson here on the Sports Leader. 808 KNBR, 415-808-5627 on this Friday night. And let me tell you, the Bay is feeling it right now. San Francisco, the city, is vibing in a big way, given what the Giants did earlier this afternoon with the walk-off win coming back in 11. And a lot of those folks, as that game wrapped just a little over an hour before the Warriors game, a lot of folks in the area down by Chase Center and Oracle Park. And it is a great day to be a Bay Area sports fan right now with what the Warriors are able to do, what the Giants are able to do. And the Warriors continue, I think, a shot across the bow to the rest of the NBA here over these last two nights. If the 20-2 when Steph Curry and Jimmy Butler play isn't telling enough, maybe it's more about what they've done here in just the last 24 hours in beating both the Lakers and the Denver Nuggets. Appreciate you, brother. Gordo's in the house tonight, by the way. Look out. Looks like Gordo was at the Giant. Gordo might have done the double dip. And he's already got one in front of you. We welcome you also to Harmonic Brewing in Thrive City. It's great to be back here at Harmonic in Thrive City. It's been 15 days since we've done a show from here. Hard to believe, but cheers to everybody in the chat as we welcome you in here. Come on, come on over, Karen. Come on over. You want to say hi? All right, Gordo's going to say hi real quick off the show. Come on over. Yes, come on over. Don't fall. Hey, how are you? Good to see you. Say hi to Kyle.
Kyle, how are you?
Appreciate you. Now, did you go to both games today?
I did.
Yeah, both games. I love it. We were just talking.
Greg show.
Yeah, and well, they're back Monday, so you won't. You would just they will forgive you. I promise. They'll forgive you.
God bless you.
I appreciate you. God bless you. Appreciate you, my man. Have a great night. Thank you for stopping by. We're getting things rolling. Whenever Gordo's here, the beers start flowing. So we appreciate it here at Harmonic, and we're having a good time here on a Friday night. 808 KNBR, 415-808-5627. Love the people who did the double dip in the Bay today. Go to opening day of the Giants and see the Warriors play tonight. But again, to kind of restart the show here, and if you want to jump in and join the conversation, feel free at 808 KNBR. I think back-to-back statement wins. We're going to call it a statement 24 hours for the Golden State Warriors, that they mean business, that they want the smoke, and that they can beat anybody that the Western Conference has to offer. We already saw that they have been able to beat Oklahoma City, but we hadn't seen and hadn't had an opportunity to see was the Lakers and Denver Nuggets matchup, and the Warriors showing here on back-to-back nights that they are a force to be reckoned with. And for all of the discussion about 5 seed versus 6 seed versus 7 versus 8, the 3 seed is officially in play for the Golden State Warriors. by virtue of this win in this game tonight at Chase Center, 118-104. We'll get into some thoughts on that. Quickly, just kind of setting the table as far as the standings go for the Warriors. With the win, they improved to 46-31. They've won 5 in a row, and they've got a shot. I said this last night. The debate over whether the Warriors should go for it or not, whether they should play Steph and Jimmy Butler and Draymond. Now, Steph and Jimmy showed up banged up on the afternoon injury report. Was a little bit iffy, although trending toward them being able to play, and they ultimately did. But I was adamant. I said it last night. I was talking to a friend of the show, Tim Kawakami of the SF Standard, today at the Giants game. He did the double dip from a coverage standpoint as well. And he asked me, he said, what would you do? I said, I'd go for it. He couldn't believe it. It was. I said, yeah, go for it. And risky. And no, to me, you don't exert the energy that the Warriors have in these last two and then lay up and then play safe. You haven't beaten the Nuggets in nearly 3 years. You don't really have a great feel for what that matchup looks like. Yes, Jamal Murray didn't play in this game. But to me, you keep going because, frankly, you can't afford to drop even one game at this point, or you might go from 5th to 8th, which we've seen Memphis do, and then work their way back up to 6th. To me, one loss can very easily turn into a couple of losses, and then all of a sudden we're talking about the play-in tournament. So the Warriors, I think, showing that they wanted to continue to put their foot on the gas here in the final now week and a half of the year. I think it's commendable, and I would have said that win or lose. When it came out that Steph and Jimmy Butler were both going to play about an hour before the game, I thought, you know what, good for them. Win or lose, good for them for going for it, because if you don't play them tonight and you rest up ahead of even some semblance of any kind of troubled waters, then you basically you're asking for trouble at that point. You're asking to come up a game short of where you want to be. You're asking for something else in these now remaining 5 games maybe to go your way. To me, there's too much momentum that this team has built. The 5 consecutive wins, Jonathan Kuminga playing as well as he did last night. To me, you wanted to continue to try to have that be something that could be carried over into the game tonight. You just want to keep everything the same as much as possible and play for the highest seed you can get. And as long as you're in the top 6, you're going to wind up getting a week off. That is more than enough rest if you're the Golden State Warriors to get ready for a first-round playoff series. But all things now on the table for Golden State as they beat Denver 118-104 at Chase Center behind me. Quick note on the standings as things sit right now. Hey, what's going on? Good to see you. Good to see you, brother. Absolutely, man. Good to see you. Thanks for stopping in. We've had a bunch of people stopping in and saying hi early. Again, it's like family when you haven't seen people for as long as we haven't seen the fine folks out here at Harmonic in Thrive City. But Lakers, 46-30. They move now into 3rd in the Western Conference playoff race. They are up right now on the Pelicans. Lakers and Pelicans are playing down in Southern California, and the Lakers are up 13 with 6 minutes to go in that game. So the Lakers with the win would improve to 47-30. They would be 3rd. The Nuggets a half game behind them at 47-31. And then the Warriors a half game behind the Nuggets for 4th now, and only a game back of the Lakers for 3rd. Now the Warriors don't have the tiebreaker over Denver or Los Angeles, so they'd have to beat them outright by a game, and they would still be now even in the loss column with Denver and still one back of the Lakers, even with the win over the Lakers last night in the loss column. So you'd have to make up 2 games basically in the final 5. But guess what? The Lakers have a couple of games against Oklahoma City coming up here as you get into the weekend and the early part of next week. So that's no guarantee if you're the Lakers that you're going to run the table. And running the table is very much a outcome that's attainable for this Golden State Warriors team. All that being said, they still remain only a game up on Memphis in 6th, Minnesota in 7th, and the Clippers are going to join what will be a 3-way tie at the close of business. The Clippers about to put away Dallas. They're up 22 late in that one, so it's going to be a 3-way tie, 6, 7, 8 here in the Western Conference at the close of business. So you're still only one game clear of that. Hey, what's going on? Good to see you. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Awesome. Come on over. Yes, come on over. Come on over. Say yes, absolutely. Thank you so much. 808 KNBR, 415-808-5627. Always great when Danny stops by. Always a little Miami and a little LA. We'll yeah. Oh, awesome. You went to the game last night. Oh, okay. Oh, beautiful. And here tonight. Beautiful. Thank you. Nice meeting you. Thank you so much. Danny in Vancouver with his regular appearances here and there. Danny, he's not a FaceTime. He's not a me guy. He just wanted to say hi. Said, hey, introduce me to his wife here. We'll take it. It is a party right now. If you can hear, we got the Warriors. We got people. I mean, it is a party in Harmonic. It's wild here on a Friday night here on KNBR. Andis Brown, JD shaking hands and kissing babies. Man of the people. And yeah, I mean, Danny, regular listener, regular caller, one of the great listeners here to this show up north of the border. And it's like, and we are, as you know, some in the chat have noted. I mean, we're about the families, we're about the kids, we're about the wives, we're about whatever. Let's go, like bring it. And so yeah, great to see everybody here at Harmonic and Thrive City. So the Warriors are going to be a game up on the fray of 6, 7, 8, but they are now right in the middle of it in terms of potentially moving up to 4 and 3. That's the big takeaway as far as the standings go here as the Warriors get the win over the Nuggets. Let's get Billy Joe and Alamo going to get us started here on the phone lines tonight. 808 KNBR. Billy Joe not at Harmonic in Thrive City, but giving a call here. What's going on tonight, Billy Joe?
Oh, I'm going to get my ass over there pretty soon. I'll see you in about 20 minutes.
Nice.
I can feel the coals from here, you know?
Absolutely. I got one waiting for you, Billy Joe.
Oh, you're the man. It's a great time to be a Bay Area sports fan. And the Padres and the Dodgers both lost, too, I just might add.
Yeah, no doubt. And, I mean, all of a sudden, I mean, the Giants are right there in the race, right? They're right there, yeah. all equal. All equal at one loss.
A big game with Houston, though, on Sunday, and then our schedule gets a little easier. So, we'll, keep the foot on the throat,
No doubt. I mean, and Houston's a team that the Warriors have played very well against. I wonder, the Warriors, I think, really found it in the second of a back-to-back energy-wise. I think that's the most impressive takeaway from tonight was just how much juice the Warriors had to come out and compete in this game, Billy Joe. But it was also once they got down. I mean, Jokic was having his way in the first quarter of this game. The Nuggets put up 44 points. They were dominating on the interior, and the Warriors still fought and clawed and scratched their way back into the game. The bench group, which, as we've joked here, the start of the second quarter, fourth quarter bench group is 4 starters minus Steph. But that group, and Quentin Post was a part of it, that group flipped the game in the non-Jokic and non-Steph minutes for their sides respectively. And those minutes are different for Denver when they don't have Jamal Murray. And again, we don't want to overstate. I mean, Jamal Murray is a significant contributor to the Nuggets, and not having him is a game changer. And he's been in and out of the lineup a lot for them during the course of this season. Usually Murray would be out there then, and they would try to run their thing, run their offense through him in the non-Jokic minutes. But for tonight, it was the Podziemski, Moody, Jimmy Butler, Quentin Post, Draymond Green, 5 that got the Warriors back in the game. But the energy that they showed to compete after getting down, when really at any point once you get down and you're being dominated and the top-ranked Warrior defense was really getting picked apart, dissected by Jokic, as we've seen him do so often to different iterations of this Warriors team. But for them to show the want to continue to get back in, considering it's the first home game in 15 days, considering it's the second of a back-to-back, I think that's the most telling and impressive part of the Warriors' ability to get this win. You're right, Billy Joe, Houston is no picnic for this Warriors team, even though they have taken 3 of the first 4 head-to-head matchups this season. They are physical. They are a team that if you're a little bit banged up or a little bit tired could really hammer you. And you got to be ready. So whatever that, you don't want to have a letdown in that game if you're the Warriors as you start to look ahead, because that becomes the game. I said it before last night's game, or before the game tonight, last night, and I'm going to say it again tonight. You get the Houston game, you can run the table, because then it's at Phoenix, likely without Durant. It's San Antonio at home. It's at Portland. And then the Clippers, the toughest remaining game on the schedule after the game against the Rockets. And for the Warriors, the Clipper game probably is the toughest game on the schedule, given the fact that they're 3-0 head-to-head against the Warriors. But that will complete the trio of teams that have really had the Warriors number this year, and the Warriors getting an opportunity to potentially see them on the last day of the year as it relates to the Clippers with the new look squad, the Jimmy Butler squad. There it is. There it is.
And the way Pajemski's playing.
There it is. Billy Joe, final thought. But you made up for everybody, brother.
Oh, I will see
Appreciate
you within
you.
half an hour. Take it easy.
Thanks, Billy Joe. Appreciate it, man. Yeah, people are having a good time. They love it. Appreciate it. Bringing that energy out here at Harmonic in Thrive City. 808 KNBR 415-808-5627. That is the number to jump in and join the conversation. You can talk to Kyle Haar, who's doing an amazing job in our San Francisco. Kyle's on the phones. Kyle's on the cutting up the sound for later on the program. Kyle's running the board. Kyle's running the camera shot here for the folks in the YouTube chat. Kyle's doing it, and Kyle was in for the Giants game earlier today. So it's a double dip kind of a Friday for Kyle Haar in our San Francisco studios. So give him a call and see how he's doing on this fine Friday evening with the Warriors victorious over the Nuggets. Some other thoughts on this one. Draymond early, you could tell he was engaged. He was trying to do the best he could against Jokic. It gave him a shove and baited Jokic into an offensive foul early. Curry picked up a couple of fouls early. The Nuggets, after the Warriors had led 14-10, a 7-0 run, and then that's when they really got it going, middle of the second or the first quarter. Back half of that quarter, Denver just cooking. Up 36-30. They were at one point 14 of 20 shooting, dominating in the paint, getting whatever they wanted. Jokic was putting on a freaking clinic in the quarter. Whatever he wanted for himself, he was setting up others. It was all in the paint. Denver was hitting threes to boot, end up with 26 first quarter points in the paint of the Nuggets 44, and the Warriors wind up down 44-34 at the end of the first quarter. But here's the impressive part if you're the Warriors. It's what did you do defensively after the first quarter? And you look at the Warriors tonight, 40 points in the second and third quarters for Denver combined. So 44 in the first, and then that top-level defense showed up. The Warriors gave up 60 in the final three quarters. 16, 24, and 20 over the final three quarters. The dominant defense returned. They did a much better job on Jokic, and really more so on Jokic's ability to get others involved. That was the key component there, because Jokic was cooking again in the third quarter after the Warriors had flipped the game in the second quarter, 32-16. That's the story. The Warriors basically played this thing from a position of advantage throughout the remainder of the game as the Warriors jumped out. 7-0 run. The defense showed up beginning of the second quarter. How big has Brandon Pajemski been for this Warriors team? Warriors went to a little box-and-1 for a stretch against Jokic with Kuminga guarding him. Curry was on it all time. I mean, the stuff that Steph Curry's doing right now at 37 years old, off a 2-week trip and the second of a back-to-back, beyond impressive, the heater that Steph's been on. 36 tonight. You look at Steph last night, 37 against the Lakers on the road. You go back to Memphis, and he scores the 52. So 52 for Steph. Incredible. 52, 37. And then tonight, second of a back-to-back, third game in 4 nights, Steph goes for 36. At the age of 37, each of the three, the biggest game of the season to date, each of the three, another rung up the ladder in terms of the teams that the Warriors are facing in the standings, getting to 5, and then or getting to 6, then playing 5, then playing 4, then playing 3. and the Warriors go 3-0 in that stretch with a chance to make it 4-0 as they'll now play the 2 seed. They played they were the 6, played the 5, then they played the 4, beat them. Then they played the 3, beat them tonight, dropped them to 4 in Denver, and now you play Houston coming up on Sunday at Chase Center, and the Warriors have an opportunity to run the table in terms of that. And Brandon Podziemski has just been amazing. How about this note? Brandon Podziemski, since Jimmy Butler's debut back on February the 8th, 15 points, shooting 41.3 from 3. He's averaging 5.8 boards, 3.5 assists, 1.2 steals in 29 minutes. So he's basically playing 30 minutes a night. 18 games started. Steve Kerr quickly after the first couple of games there inserted Pods into the starting lineup, and it's been go time ever since for the Warriors. And it adds up to another win tonight. How about the 20-2 for the Warriors now when Steph Curry and Jimmy Butler both play? If you don't think last night and tonight back-to-back is impressive enough, then look at the 20-2. If that doesn't tell you that the Warriors continue to be vaulting themselves into being discussed as a legitimate contender. You get the 3 seed or the 4 seed, you're a contender in any year. If you get that's an 82 game achievement at that point. And yes, the Warriors would have done the bulk of their work to get it in the final 31 since the Jimmy Butler trade. But they've got an opportunity truly to turn this thing into something special here with the 5 games ahead that remain. And again, a real legitimate shot to be able to run the table. 808 KNBR, let's get to Savannah in San Francisco up next here on the Sports Leader. Hey, Savannah.
Hi. It's been an amazing day today. I got to go watch the Giants win by a walk-off in the extra innings, and I was blessed to be at the Chase Center tonight to watch them win an amazing game.
Awesome. What a great Friday. It doesn't get any better than that. Does it? Two terrific games, 2 intense games, 2 back and forth, at least in the first half of the Warriors game tonight, back and forth a lot in the Giants-Mariners game earlier today. I mean, it just one of those special days and all-time memory kind of days, isn't it, Savannah?
It is probably one of the best memories I'm going to have with my dad going and watching these games today. And I'm glad to say that I got to watch it instead of my brother.
Well, Savannah, I'm glad you enjoyed it, and we appreciate you calling in here on Dubs OT. And I know you're a big fan, and so thanks for calling in. And don't make it your last call.
I definitely will not.
Thanks, Savannah. Appreciate it. Savannah checking in here. Love all those who went to both. Love that. Love it. I was on an airplane at 6 o'clock this morning to make sure I could come back and get to both. That's how I roll. Give me LA. Give me hop on that plane. Give me the Giants and the Mariners. Give me the Warriors and the Nuggets. Let's go. Give me the back-to-back. All right, one more caller before we'll take a quick time out at the top of the hour. 808 KNBR, Rob in Lafayette. Rob wants to bring up a debate that I was all set to admit I was wrong on. I still think I might have been wrong, Rob, but the debate about Nuggets or Lakers, what's the better first-round matchup, this has been something that's waged on here on Dubs OT, Rob, for the better part of a month as the Warriors have found an identity with Jimmy Butler. What say you, my friend? Thank you for calling in here on Dubs OT.
Hey, thanks, JD. Hey, I was just wondering, in particular, in the last 2 days, how'd you see Butler perform versus L.A. versus Denver? Do you see him a little better on one of those 2 games, or, that would give us an advantage during the playoffs?
Well, he scored, I think, the way that I think a lot of people want to see him score tonight. A little more aggressive, taking 13 shots, fewer free throws, but more field goals made. And I'm just looking at the numbers. I mean, Jimmy Butler, 5 steals tonight. The Warriors had 14 steals. He had 5 of those steals. But I think, look, he helps him again. He helps him in both matchups. The Warriors are better equipped to beat the Lakers and the Nuggets with this team and Jimmy Butler on it. I mean, they had no shot, I think, in the prior iteration, but before the trade to beat either. I now think they stand a legitimate chance to beat either or both, depending upon how things shake out. And Jimmy's a bigger part of it. It looked like he was able to get his shot more freely tonight against Denver, just speaking about him specifically. But the Lakers, he was able to draw a ton of fouls against last night and get to the free throw line and have the ability to score that way. So I think, the scoring was more there in the game tonight, to be sure. But I think he helps him in both matchups. And I think as you look at the big picture of both of these matchups, Rob, I was all set. I think I'm going to go back on what I had said a month ago before these teams had played any head-to-heads. I think if you're going based on the last couple of nights, and the Warriors put the Nuggets away, but they didn't have Jamal Murray, I think the Lakers in many ways are the team that maybe you would want to see more if you're the Warriors. I know the depth for Denver is an issue even when Murray plays, so I thought that was something, and the Warriors certainly exploited that tonight. The lack of depth for Denver. It helped them get the win, those 2 stretches, beginning of the second, beginning of the fourth quarter, even though the bench didn't score a lot because most of the Warriors bench group in those instances are the starters. So I think they're better equipped. I'm more optimistic on the Warriors' ability to beat the Lakers than I was before. I saw a lot of things tonight, in particular Jokic and Gordon and Porter. Man, all 3 of those guys, Brown, all those guys play well against the Warriors head-to-head. So maybe it's a little recency bias, but I'm starting to think the Nuggets are the team that would give the Warriors more problems because of, yes, Jokic, the Warriors don't have that true center, but also I think Gordon and Porter are a big part of that.
Hey, thanks, JD.
Thanks, Rob. Oh, thanks, Rob. Appreciate you. 808 KNBR, 415-808-5627, as the Warriors get the win over the Denver Nuggets tonight, 118-104. Steph goes for 36. Brandon Podziemski, after a Steph Curry-like three-point shooting performance last night in L.A., 8 of 10 from three-point range for Podziemski last night. You look at Podziemski tonight, and he gets the job done again from deep, as Podziemski 4 for 8 tonight. So do the math on that. 18 attempts, and he's made 12 of 18 from three-point range in the last 2 nights. 26 points for Brandon Podziemski. Jimmy Butler with the 19 to go with 5 assists, to go with 5 steals. Draymond Green, a man possessed tonight. I thought, even though Jokic in certain stretches got the best of him, Draymond was everywhere, making his presence felt. Warriors forced 26 turnovers. 26 turnovers. That is an astronomical amount of turnovers. After the first quarter, and Denver's turnover prone, but after the first quarter, the Warriors locked down. And to do it on the second of a back-to-back, I think is impressive. Impressive as all hell. 808 KNBR, 415-808-5627. Let's go ahead and take a timeout as you listen to 104.5 FM and 680 AM San Francisco, a Cumulus Media station, the sports leader. We're coming to you from Harmonic in Thrive City. We'll get into the chat. Harmonic is lit. People are going nuts. What a day in the Bay here to begin April, as the Warriors are very much in the race for the 3 or the 4 seed. Giants get a big win as well, and we are all over it right here. Dubs OT with JD on the Sports Leader. I was on an airplane at 6 o'clock this morning to make sure I could come back and get to both. That's how I roll.
Hoops Heads, Dubs OT with John Dickinson keeps balling. Streaming live at twitch.tv/thesportsleader.
Westbrook. Beautiful steal there. Draymond forced a turnover. Westbrook couldn't collect it after Draymond poked away at the ball. Look at Draymond looking at his own bench. I love how he just makes sure people understand how great he just was. Or what just...
Draymond always lets everybody know. Draymond was on one tonight. There was a stretch where he was waiting to come back into the game, and he was at the scores table, and it ran a little long. We're back here at Dubs OT with JD, Fitz, and Kalena there on NBC Sports Bay Area on the call. Warriors beat the Nuggets 118-104, so Golden State now 46-31. They've won 5 in a row. They've got Houston in the building that sits behind me, Chase Center, on Sunday afternoon, 5:30 tip-off for that one, and we'll be all over it on after here with Dubs OT back at Harmonic in Thrive City. 808 KNBR 415-808-5627. So there was a stretch in the fourth quarter where Draymond was waiting to check back in the game, and he looked like a coach. I mean, he was yelling, he was motioning, he looked like he was coaching the damn team. Honestly, he was animated in that stretch. I mean, it was the first time that I could see, and I pictured it for a split second. I thought, oh my God, that looks like Draymond Green is the coach of the Warriors. And it's Joe Lacob had the famous, it's his job, right? And Draymond went out and said, hey, I've got that job waiting for me to be the coach of the Warriors after Steve if he winds up retiring. And we'll see. I think Draymond can do whatever he wants, get into broadcasting, whatever. But, Kyle, there was a moment where I was watching him, and, again, he was middle of the table set to check in, and he was motioning here, and he was yelling at this, and he was telling guys where to go, which he does on the floor a lot. And I thought, oh, my God, like, that it just looked like I pictured it like 6-8 years from now, 5 years, whatever it is, Draymond, the head coach of the Warriors. Can you picture Draymond actually as the head coach of the Warriors? Yeah. T is for technical, not timeout.
No, not a lot of timeouts coming from Draymond. Maybe a few technicals, but yeah, maybe Coach Draymond down the line, but current Draymond, I like to call him TPOY-mon.
Yeah, and most definitely. And tonight, I think, winds up being another one of those, like, if this team keeps winning with the way that he's played defensively, Coach Mond says read the steed. I like that. As we are at Harmonic and Thrive City, by the way, cheers. A few people had asked. Yeah, it's the Prog Rock Pilsner tonight here at Harmonic. I put that in the chat for the good folks there. Also want to give a quick shout to Jeff, who stopped by. I had a chance in the midst of all the chaos at the start of the show. We got people chanting, we got people coming up, we got Danny in Vancouver saying, JD, I want you to meet my wife. Like, all these things are going on as the show's getting going. And I'm trying to formulate a thought as to what the heck I want to talk about. The Warriors coming off this big win. And Jeff had stopped by, a very nice gentleman, Jeff, and he was here with his wife as well. And I got a chance to chat with him during the break. Huge KNBR head. And this is how big it came. So Jeff and his wife, they went to both games. I love how many people went to both games today, by the way. I think, like, what a day. And I was chatting with Jeff, and he's got his Giants jacket on. And him and his wife, they went to both games. And they were out at 58 Social this morning with Murph and Marcus. So they went. This is big time. You're out at 50,
triple header right there.
You're out at 58 Social before 10 a.m. with Murph and Marcus. You're going to the Giants opening day, and then you're going to Chase after the Giants play a 4-hour game, winning a walk-off, thrilling. You come to Chase. You see one of the biggest, I think the biggest game of the season to date for the Warriors. We'll check back again on that on Sunday. And then at Harmonic here in Thrive City after the Warriors. I mean, like that. What a wife. Also, what a great marriage. What a great marriage, Kyle.
Oh yeah, please let that love find me. But I'm 24 and I don't have that kind of stamina.
Yeah, awesome. No, it's beautiful. So, Jeff, thank you for chiming in. And they're having a pint and a glass of wine here outside as people are fired up. The energy is infectious here tonight. People are rowdy. People are into it. People are excited. I mean, what a day to be feeling good about everything that's going on here in the Bay Area. Well, let's get to the chat. 808 KNBR if you want to jump in on the phone lines. We do have a couple of lines open. We'll get to the Golden State Lumber and Showroom text line. Warriors win. Billy Joe from Alamo's on his way. Billy Joe from Alamo, by the way, in the chat now. So we got Billy Joe from Alamo calling. We got Billy Joe from Alamo in the chat. And we've got Billy Joe from Alamo who says here at JD, going to get my liver ready for a Kolsch. See you around 10:30. Billy Joe's calling a shot. Billy Joe, cheers to you, my friend. This one is for you, sir. It is ready and waiting here at the JD corner table, courtesy of our buddy Gordo as well, because Gordo's having a good time. And although he admitted, sorry, Greg Silver and Greg Papa, Billy Joe admitted that he missed their show today because he was, I think, at the park, so he missed their show. The Gregs will forgive you. The Gregs will forgive you, Gordo. I promise. So, Billy Joe, we look forward to seeing you as well. While Kyle digs into a call here, we're going to find out how good Kyle can multitask, and pretty good as he moves around and he's able to maneuver the chat here while on the phone. Look, give it Kyle Har, everybody. Get this guy some help. What's going on, Ryan? Ryan McCarthy in the back. What's going on, brother? Good to see you. He's cutting sound. I know you're working. Everybody's working a lot today. Max Lopez, I just like this team is building its own identity. The goal is a championship, so forget the matchups. It's about this team finding itself. I couldn't have said it any better myself, Max. I could not have said it any better. And I think that's why you play a game like tonight. It's to continue to find your identity. Now you learn something about yourself as a team based on the way you were able to win these last two games. To have it matter, I think, is important for the culture of what they want this identity to be. Grit and grind, find a way to get the job done. Nobody cares about tired. Nobody cares about 2-week road trips. Nobody cares about your complaints. Like nobody cares about any of that. Just go win against teams, by the way, the last two nights that the Warriors had not beaten this season. They were a combined 0-5. They haven't beat the Nuggets in 3 years before tonight. And I know Murray didn't play. Okay, that's fine. And again, I think the Nuggets might very well be the most difficult matchup for the Warriors of anybody in the West still because of Jokic and some of those guys we mentioned. And I'm more into the matchups, and I'm glad we at least got a chance to see. I know even without Murray, we got a chance to see a little bit more of how this team with Jimmy Butler can stack up against Denver and definitely the Lakers last night, and the way they took it to Luka, I think, was impressive. The way they defended in both of these games, I think, was impressive. But it is more about building your identity instead of really worrying or fretting about the matchups, which is why this team, to me, needs to keep putting your foot down. Go get Sunday. Go get Sunday. Go get Tuesday. This team's won. I mean, can you imagine if the Warriors get to 4 or 3 and you look up at the end of the season and they've won 10 in a row? That's on the table. That's on the table right now with 5 consecutive. I mean, that would be 51 wins. I also can't get over, I mean, the level that Stephen Curry is playing at. He is playing some of the best basketball of his entire career in the last 3 weeks and in the now near 2 months since Jimmy Butler has joined the conversation. Robert Brown, if Warriors get a 3 seed, JD will probably turn into a Kolsch himself. But it'll be more, I tell you, They get a 3 or a 4 seed. You know what that means? That means more shows here from Harmonic. That means maybe an extra show in a series from Harmonic at Thrive City. And it means starting. Rich Ray, the crowd, the great point from Rich Ray. The crowd was hella loud tonight. They finally believe after 20-2, better late than never. Say what you want about the Warrior fans. I do think they were a little high on the supply of the dominant era in terms of needing that level of belief to really get into the game. The flip side to that is, forget about it, JD, the team that the Warriors were actually putting out there these last 2 years, really, more so last year. Hey, how you doing? More so last year than 2 years ago. But those teams are not, like, they were flawed. It wasn't just that they weren't contenders, but they were flawed. And they didn't play basketball that was fun to watch. This team plays, they're winning a lot, but they play basketball that's fun to watch. And I think Warrior fans appreciate, as much as they love Steph and they love Clay and the shooting and the offense and the ball movement, beautiful basketball, all of that, positionless. I think Warrior fans, longtime Warrior fans, love the teams that like to get down and dirty. Love kind of the underdog story of a team that is, and the Warriors to a man said it. The 2022 title was unexpected. If the 2022 title was unexpected, what would a 2025 run to the finals be? I mean, it is the stuff of legend for a core group now of Steph and Draymond and Steve Kerr, because Clay is no longer here. But Steph and Draymond and Steve to be able to, with Jimmy, because it wasn't happening without Jimmy, but with Jimmy, yeah, read the Steed. You're telling me Anthony Lamb wasn't fun to watch? Yeah, oh, man. There is some trauma from the that was a prior life, though. That was a prior radio life, so we don't need to get into it. But my goodness. Wow, Anthony Lamb minutes. Yikes. I didn't think we were going to go there tonight with the Warriors getting a win over Denver and winning their 5th in a row and getting in that position. But no, I do think you look at the Warriors and the way this thing is played out. I think a lot of Warrior fans love the teams that like to get down and dirty, that like to be physical, that like to be considered underdogs, because it speaks to, and look, there's a lot of younger Warrior fans out there too that only know this team as dynastic, but there were a lot of really bad years before they were a dynasty, like really bad, like Sacramento and Charlotte and, worst of the worst. Like, think of the worst franchise you can think of. The Raiders of the NBA, like whatever it is. Think of the worst franchise, the Browns of the NBA. Like, that's what it was for the Warriors before Steph. They were the Browns of the NBA. Like, that's so any kind of winning and being an underdog, kind of we believe style, and this is a souped up version, I think, of that. But if you remember, midseason trade that year that brought in Stack Jack and brought in Harrington and, that crew. And, they got it rolling at the end just well enough. Again, this team's far better than that team was. But I think there's a little bit of a high-end, almost we believe kind of component after the middle of the year trade. And the fans to that point, I think, are vibing. Chase was rocking tonight. It's a lot of the same people. It's just they just need a little more. They're spoiled. Let's be honest. There's a lot of work. Like, they're spoiled by the greatness of the last decade, to where I think it's turned into a crowd that needs the team to play well to get amped. And I think what you've seen here lately is they're getting amped now because they believe in this team before the team does anything, and that's leading to the team doing more. So I think that's a subtle a great difference. And yeah, enter the Draymond. We are spoiled. I think. Look, I don't think there's a Warrior fan around. I don't care if you're 20 years old or 80 years old. I don't think there's a Warrior fan around that wouldn't say they've been spoiled the last decade plus. Like that is, I think, without a doubt, true. Pods and Steph, deadliest duo in the Wild West. Thanks, Jimbo. Appreciate that. That's a good comment here. Kyle's clicks, by the way, here on eSports Leader. What else we got, Kyle? Non-Steph minutes from B's knees in the fourth quarter. Butler drawing doubles and Pods playing off of him. Jimmy sets up Pods. Like, they have great chemistry. There is chemistry with players that will set up others for layups and easy buckets and the like. Jimmy is so good at waiting for the right defender to give just enough, to hedge just enough to one side or the other, to where he's able to quickly hit the right pass in the right spot at the right time. And it feels like certainly the two guys that have benefited the most from that, Moses Moody and Brandon Pajemski. But it's these last two games been Pajemski and so much of the Warriors' ceiling. I said it last night. We said it in Memphis. We're going to say it a bunch more times here between now and the end of the year. So much of the Warriors' ceiling, yes, it's contingent on Steph being out of this freaking world. Yes, it's Draymond being DPOY level. Yes, it's Jimmy being an all-time war daddy leader, do-it-all glue guy that can also get his buckets when he needs to. It's also going to come down to Pajemski and Moody's ability to make shots and Kuminga's ability to be a quality high-end role player. And can Quentin Post make threes and not get played off the floor of the play? Like, those are the things, like the young players. And I think that's kind of the beauty of this thing, the way the Warriors have it built. The young players are going to be as important to how it turns out as the veteran players are. And I think that is going to provide the utmost of clarity in the offseason if this team does, in fact, come up short as to what they're going to need to add to this roster. So now the chat is running through all of the different randos. Eduardo Nahara. I love this. Ian Clark. Mike Dunleavy, the player. Ike Diagu. Yeah, there were some fun names that bring up the lowest of the lows in terms of what they brought to the table. Andis Brown, Pods playing so well. We don't care how Kuminga plays or if Buddy shoots the ball. That's so good. Estimated Eye. Oh, go back to Estimated Eyes. I want to grab that one. Oh, no, bad one. No, we don't want to go that one. We don't want to go that one. Estimated Eyes calling the shot. My God, we're going to get Jimmy his first ring, aren't we? Well, that works both ways, Estimated. He's going to are the Warriors going to get Jimmy his first? Or is Jimmy going to get Steph and Draymond and Steve their fifth? I don't know. You tell me. You tell me, 808 KNBR and in the chat. I think that works both ways. Nobody should be shorting the impact of Jimmy Butler. That's the one thing that, like, I know at times things got a little weird with Durant, right? Durant was winning finals MVPs, and yet it was, Steph was getting him championships. And, Durant was pretty important. Like, Jimmy's pretty freaking important, as is Steph, obviously, as the lead dog, as is Draymond. Jimmy's ability to reinvigorate Steph offensively and reinvigorate Draymond defensively to the point where Steph is playing like a top 5 player of all time since the trade. Draymond's playing like a DPOY that's going to win the DPOY for 2 months of great defense and a bunch of Warrior wins. And not to mention the Pajemski, Moody, Post, Guy Santos impact. Like, it's let's not sell Jimmy Butler short because we all remember where this team was 2 months ago. We all remember. Kyle, you remember where this team was 2 months ago?
We were the borderline doormat.
I mean, 2 months ago tomorrow. And by the way, listen to Just Dubs tomorrow, 10 till noon. We got a full 2-hour show, 10 to noon with the Giants playing in the evening, continuing their series against the Mariners. But the Warriors were on pace to be with the Sacramentos and the Dallases and the Phoenixes and the Portlands. That's where they were. Hey, how you doing? Appreciate you. Hey, what's going on, Kevin? How you doing, man? Good to see you. And so that's where they were. Like Jimmy Butler had changed the whole thing in a big way. So yeah, he would be helping the Warriors. The Warriors would be helping him. One more before the timeout. J.C. Mack, Moody's point of attack defense has drastically improved. J.K.'s help defense is terribly lacking. Yeah, Kuminga's help defense. Again, I thought Steph said it last night, and I thought it was beautiful what Steph said about, hey, let's not hang on every game, because that's been a pet peeve of mine for over a year. Like, every game doesn't have to be trade him or he's a future all-star, superstar. And, he didn't play great tonight. He had some key buckets in other areas. Like, fine. Like, just have an ignorable role player kind of game. Like we haven't talked about Buddy Hield tonight, and he was more bad than good. But role players can live in that existence. But yeah, the help defense was not great. But Kuminga had some moments. I want to focus more on the first part of that, which is Moody. Point of attack against multiple different types of players. It used to be the thicker guys that he would be able to hold up against. He's doing it against thicker guys and quick guys as well. Point of attack defense a little overrated. Point of attack, I would much rather, I'll say this, I would much rather have great team defenders, than and have 5, 6, 7 of them, a group that can play on a string and defensive shell and all that stuff. I would much rather have that than not have team defenders and help defenders, but have point of attack defenders, right? It's like having a shutdown corner if the rest of your defense stinks. Like, it only take you so far. I'd much rather have the rest of the defense be great, and then maybe you don't have a shutdown corner. Maybe you have a couple really good corners, to use the football analogy to bring that to the table. One more, Kyle? I know I keep one more. Let's go one more. FL Dubs fan, after watching the last Denver game, I knew Westbrook would be Westbrook. He was allergic to the ball tonight. Look, that's going to be part of the key to the Warriors if they play Denver beating them, is bad Westbrook and forcing him to be bad Westbrook. He's going to have one great Westbrook game, I'm sure, but forcing him into multiple bad Westbrook games, I think, is going to be huge. And we'll see if the Warriors are able to do that. But, yeah, Westbrook, bad Westbrook tonight. He was great the last time they played. But, yeah, it's like Florida Dubs fan, you flip a coin, right? And, he can play you out of a game just as much as he can play you into a game on a night in, night out basis. All right, let's take a quick timeout. 808 KNBR, 415-808-5627. Warriors get the win over the Nuggets. We will continue on here with more from the chat and Sounds of Dubs OT. Fun with numbers. We are rolling here from Harmonic and Thrive City. The Warriors are in the race for the 3 seed, and we are all over it right here on KNBR 104.5 and 680, the sports leader.
KNBR presents the sounds of Dubs OT.
I can see the headline now. Kerr says Warriors better without Curry.
No class, no ball.
I want to get my joy back. I'm happy here, off the court.
Now here's John Dickinson.
Well, it's a who's who tonight. You got Jimmy Butler in his pre-Warrior days in the intro. We got Michael Malone in the house tonight in the intro, as always. No class, no balls. Love that. Love seeing Michael Malone and his Denver Nuggets team. And the Warriors get the better of the Nuggets for the first time in almost 3 years. You got to go back to Game 5 of the 2022 first round. Warriors en route to the championship and eliminating the Murray and Michael Porter Jr.-less Nuggets in 5 at Chase Center. Warriors hadn't beaten them since. That was end of April of 2022. So almost 3 full years on the calendar here coming up in the next 3 weeks. We're back here on Dubs OT with JD. It is Sounds of Dubs OT time here. Before we get to that, though, real quick, 916 CHP Joe, can you ask, or JD, why the number 16 was on the Warriors jerseys, and last night in LA, the Lakers wore 44. Well, 44 was for Jerry West, who passed away, and obviously the Laker legend and the NBA logo, and was in the Warriors front office for a time. The Lakers were in 44 in honor of Jerry West, who passed away. And the Warriors are wearing 16 all season for Al Attles, who also passed away. And so that's the story behind that. Al Attles' number hanging in the rafters. The all-time winningest coach up until Steve Kerr surpassed his total within the last month. And, yeah, Attles has his 16 in the rafters at Chase. And so the Warriors honoring him after he passed away last year as well. So that is the story behind the numbers and the number patches for CHP Joe in the 916, and we appreciate you there. All right, let's get to Sounds of Dubs OT. It's a good one tonight. We got some Draymond. We got some Steve Kerr. We may get a little bit of Stephen Curry between now and when we wrap things up. And we also are going to hear from Jimmy freaking Butler, as Kevin Harlan says. We'll start it with the head coach, and he was impressed with the Warriors' ability to come up with the performance that they did, given the long trip and the second of a back-to-back against 2 quality teams in the Western Conference.
Pretty impressive, back-to-back. I've never been a part of a schedule like this where you're on the road 14 days and then you have a back-to-back at home, after the trip. So incredible energy, and the crowd was fantastic. And after that first quarter, we got them under control defensively, and just a brilliant effort from all of our guys. I was amazed at, how much juice they had given the travel and the schedule.
And I think the crowd helped tonight. I think, look, this Warriors team, when they want a game, is, I don't want to say unbeatable, but the intent and the intensity and the focus is going to be there. And I think that was as much a part of the decision to play Steph and to play Jimmy Butler in this game, is the reality that, it's, you want to keep that edge and keep that mentality going. And so I think the crowd vibed off of, the road trip and beating the Lakers, and the fact that this team suddenly is playing for the 4 or even the 3 seed, the fact that they look like they can beat anybody and everybody on a given night. And I thought the crowd was vibing on that, and I thought the crowd gave the Warriors a lift, but I think the Warriors gave themselves a lift by going for it. And I that was my lead for the show tonight. And I've mentioned it a couple of times, and I might mention it a couple of more here before we get out of here from Harmonic and Thrive City. The want, the desire, I think was a huge part of the story. So many times we would see other teams, Steph and Jimmy aren't playing. Got the win last night. schedule's too tough. Steve said it, never been a part of anything like that. That's fine. The conversation as to whether it's fair or not, or what the league does with the schedule, I have that conversation all year, every year. We don't need to have it right now or tonight. But the reality is it's a scenario where you got to suck it up. Like, this team's lost its margin for error. They got to make it up somewhere. So I think the Warriors betting on themselves was what gave them the energy tonight. I think it was the newness of just beat the Lakers, haven't beaten Denver. Let's say how this team shakes out with Denver, because they didn't get an opportunity to do that back in March. And I think a big part of the reason why the Warriors lost the game in March on St. Patrick's Day to the Nuggets was the fact that there was the letdown late of Jokic and Murray both not playing. I think they were geared up to face him and wanted to make a statement type performance. And tonight they got that opportunity, and they weren't going to have it robbed from them. They were not going to have the opportunity to make to deliver the shot across the bow for the rest of the NBA. They were not going to let that go by the wayside over a sore forearm and Steph landed on his back again last night. And you look at the way those guys played tonight. Tone setters to be sure. All right, let's continue on here. More sounds of Dubs OT, more from Steve Kerr. The second lineup and its effectiveness since the Jimmy Butler addition. Let's hear a little bit about the bench. That's not really the bench because it's got a bunch of starters in it, but Steph's not out there, which can wreck everything for the Warriors, but hasn't. So here's Steve Kerr on all of that.
Yeah, I mean, that's been a really good lineup for us, since we got Jimmy, that top of the second, top of the fourth lineup. It's been very effective against everybody. It just feels like we're going to make a really good defensive stand with that group. And, with Quentin out there, we've got some spacing, so Jimmy's got some room to work with. And the way Brandon is shooting the ball right now, it's impressive to watch.
Yeah, when Podziemski is shooting it like this, look out. And we've seen it. And, can he continue to do that? We shall see. But Podziemski's ability to shoot it, and again, it's not going to be a 67% clip on 20-plus three-point attempts, but if he can just be steady and knock down shots with at a 40% clip from three, that goes as far as anything as to what the ceiling for this Warriors team can be. Let's move on. From the head coach, we continue to Draymond Green. And Draymond, on the point of tough schedule, tough circumstances, teams the Warriors hadn't been able to beat before, now they're having the ability to beat, and just what it all means or confirms for him.
It just confirms who we thought we were. We said from the time we got Jimmy, this team, the sky's the limit for this team. And I think, these games matter. Talked about it yesterday of just getting these young guys these meaningful game minutes. They're playing great. BP was incredible again tonight. Everybody off the bench. Steph Curry, I thought he'd win Player of the Week after yesterday. I think he'll really win it after today. But, man, Jimmy he put so much pressure on their defense. He put a lot of pressure on their offense. I think just further prove we are who we thought we were.
And you don't do that if you don't go try to get it. And I think this team believes, and I think it's as much important for the veteran players as it is for the young players. I think the young players will gain confidence from this, but if the veteran guys are not playing, the young players don't get to slot into their roles properly to be able to make the impact that's necessary. So I think there's been a debate as to, of course, this team is improved with Jimmy Butler, but are they really a contender? And I think what we're seeing here in these last three, and it's the last three plus the 20-2 now overall record in the 22 games that Steph and Draymond have played together, that shows you that this team, I think, is getting closer to, and the opponents that they're beating specifically, Denver, Lakers. Memphis is down right now, but we've seen this Warriors team handle business and be able to beat teams that they hadn't been able to beat prior to that. So it feels real. It feels legit. And I think it the more that the confirmation is there, the more the confidence is there for everybody. And that's where I think it truly does become scary for the rest of the league. If this is going to be closer to who Brandon Podziemski really is, I mean, look out. We shall see. I mean, the playoffs are a completely different animal. He's never played a playoff game in his career. But these games that the Warriors have played this week, I think all three of them, Tuesday, last night, tonight, all three of those games qualify as regular season-like playoff games. They're not full-blown playoff games, but they are as close as you can get to playoff games in the regular season. So I do think the benefit is legitimate for all of the younger players, but none of that matters without the older players. Jimmy Butler, let's hear from Jimmy post-game as well. And he speaks to that exact statement about confidence. And here's Jimmy Butler's take on confidence for the Warriors.
It shows what we're capable of, home or away, against some really good teams. And we're going to need that confidence. We're going to need that preparation for what we're trying to do in a long haul, which is win a championship. But it helps when the guys are healthy, guys are confident, and guys are all out there playing together.
And that's also another example of why you don't want to, as I've said so many times tonight, break up the momentum, because this team has a firm rotation right now. This team knows who the start of the second, fourth quarter lineup is. They know when Kuminga's coming in. They know when Steph's going to sit and Jimmy's going to come in. They know when Jimmy's going to sit and then Steph's going to come in. Like, Steve Kerr's had this thing dialed. They've really, truly, he has figured it out. The only semi-question has been Kuminga. And there's been games where he's been good, games where he hasn't. But, like, everybody else has a firm role. And I'll say this. Kuminga's effectiveness has varied in some of these games. But Steve, when Kuminga has been available, Steve's played him the same rotation. He's one of the first guys in, first 5-6 minutes of the game, he's in. He's out because he's not a part of that starter second, fourth quarter group, and then he's coming back in again. So he's getting 2 runs in each half, and if he's playing well, he closes. Simple as that. I mean, so he's got the Kuminga role, I think, ironed out. It's just a matter of how productive is Kuminga going to be in a given night. But he's got the Podziemski role figured out. He's starting next to Steph. He's got the Quentin Post role figured out. Like, he's got the Moses Moody role. By the way, 14-0 now for the Steph, Podziemski, Jimmy Butler, Moses Moody, Draymond Green starting lineup. So I think Steve deserves a lot of the credit for being able to, as somebody that, I mean, I'll say it, and he may disagree or laugh about it in hearing it, but Steve struggles sometimes with tinkering too much. Like, that's real. Like, but he also, I think, knows when it's go time and knows when things have to be more locked in and buttoned up and routine and practice and preparation, all that. And I think he's found that group in the right way. All right, one more from Jimmy Butler. We'll also hear from Steph Curry here as we close things out in Sounds of Dubs OT. Jimmy Butler postgame about the enjoyment of this group figuring it out together. Young players, veteran players, all of it. They're building something that is looking more and more potentially special by the night. And here's Jimmy Butler discussing how the Warriors are trying to continue to further this thing.
It's the same. I'm not going to say that the long road trip did anything different. We really enjoy being around each other. We enjoy playing basketball together. So we did as much stuff as we could when we was on the road. And then when push came to shove, we went out there and we competed our asses off. We didn't win every game like we were expected to, but we got 30 back and we started putting them together.
That's it. And now it's 5 in a row since 30's come back. And Jimmy with the quote of the year after they got smoked in Miami in Jimmy Butler's return. We need 30 back. Sometimes it truly is that simple. And I think there was too much consternation about the Atlanta and Miami games. You didn't have Steph freaking Curry. Like, give me a break. And I know the Warriors had won some games without him. That was a complete mirage. This team needs both of those guys to be forget about contender, but just to win games with regularity in the regular season. They need to be that level. Cheers, my man Gordo, checking in out here. Again, I love the Gordo check-in. I love that. Thanks, my man. No, I appreciate that. You just making sure I'm doing all right. Like and we're doing all right. Cheers. No sign of Billy Joe yet from Alamo. Billy Joe, if you don't, I am, my man. Like you got about 6 minutes to claim this bad boy, or I'm going to be enjoying it with Alex and Grace tonight, pouring here at Harmonic in Thrive City as we come to you with Dubs OT. All right, let's get one more clip in our Sounds of Dubs OT. And Kyle, we'll go ahead and take a break after this, and we'll come back. We'll do some fun with numbers. We'll do Kyle's clicks, and we'll end it with one more segment here after this one. But let's hear from Steph Curry post-game, and he addressed it. I mean, with each of these games, the Warriors are becoming more and more a championship caliber type of a team. It's time to start saying that quiet part, I think, a little bit louder. And here's Steph coming at it with what the Warriors are able to do right now.
We're playing like that. We have a lot of work. I've been saying that since this run started. We have a lot of work to do, and we still have a lot of work to do to finish the year strong. You are seeing an identity on a night-to-night that we understand how to win games, whether it's games where the tempo is a lot faster, you got to score, or if it's a grinded-out defensive game. We've played better in fourth quarters with leads. All the things that championship caliber teams do, we've been doing. And it's clearly different than 2 months ago. So just an idea of hold on to that energy, and for us to just be able to get into a playoff series, we understand what we're capable of. And whether you're predicting it or speaking it into existence or whatever it is, like the confidence is there. So just ride that wave.
Yeah, the confidence is there for this team, and the habits are there. And I think you're starting to see the belief truly be there for this Warriors team right now. And yeah, a long way to go. Steph knows, Draymond knows. I mean, they've been through it. Steve Kerr knows, but this is a completely different world than where the Warriors were living 2 months ago at 25 and 26, the night of the trade, coming off a loss to the Utah Jazz, blowing a lead in the final 3 minutes at Salt Lake City, and then losing to the Lakers the next night. And this is a completely different scenario. And estimated eyes, I'm looking at, remember Steph pre-trade. Like, again, I mean, how many times, Kyle, did we have the discussion like, Steph looks banged up. Steph looks like the age is starting to maybe catch up with him a little bit. And there has been none of that. Like one game, right? One or two, a couple of games before they gave him the Milwaukee game off, right? The Denver game before, the Knicks game. Like there were a couple of games before they gave him the one off where, all right, he's looking maybe a little tired. Okay. Well, he's 37 years old. He's looking a little tired. Okay, give him a night off. And then give him a night off and he's right back to looking like a top 5 player of all time for a few weeks after he was looking like a top 5 player of all time for a few weeks before that. Like it's just a different world. It's just a different world. All right, that sounds a Dubs OT for tonight. Let's go ahead and take a quick timeout. We'll come back and we'll wrap things up here from Harmonic. We'll get a final edition of Kyle's Clicks and also some fun with numbers. Warriors win we'll update the NBA scoreboard too. A couple of those games that were all but final are now final across the NBA. So we'll get the standings at the close of business here and what's ahead tomorrow, as we'll have just dubs for you, but also games in between tonight and when the Warriors next play at 5:30 on Sunday against the Rockets. We'll do all that coming up next right here on the Sports Leader.
This is Dubs OT with JD. Time now for fun.
I'm a fun guy.
With numbers.
No, I'm just having fun.
On KNBR 104.5 and 680. Streaming live on KNBR.com and the KNBR app.
All right, final segment from Harmonic in Thrive City. Warriors win over the Nuggets as they improve to 46 and 31. 118-104 is the final. So the Warriors off tomorrow. Wow, get a chance to kind of chill a little bit at home. We will not be chilling at home. Well, maybe afternoon we'll be chilling a little bit at home. We do have just dubs tomorrow, 10 a.m. until noon. I think I'm going to be out at the I'm going to head out to the Giants game again tomorrow night and check out the Giants and see what they've got cooking here before we reconvene on Sunday for Dubs OT back here at Harmonic in Thrive City. We'll run down the standings here coming up in just a moment. Kyle, what do we want to do? We want to do fun with numbers right now since we played the thing. Let's do some fun with numbers. We'll get a little bit of the chat going as well, and then we'll end on a note as it relates to the standings. So let's get to it. Warriors with the win tonight. 46 and 31, 24 and 14 at home, 5 straight games overall, 14 the last 17, and the Warriors have won 3 straight at home and 10 of the last 11 at home. The only loss in that span is that game that they lost to the Nuggets when the Nuggets didn't play Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray. The Warriors also matched their win total from last year tonight. They got their 46th win of the year. They were 46-36. So this year, improvement. It took Jimmy Butler being added to the equation to get that improvement, but improvement nevertheless. This team will be the best team. They cannot get to the 53 of the championship team here already with the 31 losses. 51 is their ceiling. But this team will have a better record than last year's team, 46, or at least the same. I don't think they're going to go 0-5, though. So I'm confident in saying they'll have a better record than last year's team. And they already have secured a better record than 2 years ago's team that went 44-38 before beating Sacramento in the first round of the playoffs. So they match last year's win total. Jimmy Butler, the Jimmy Butler effect. Warriors 21-5 overall, 21-4 in games Jimmy Butler has played, and 20-2 when Steph and Jimmy are both in the lineup. Warriors ended the 9-game losing streak against Denver. 9 games. April 23rd of 2021. The Nuggets won the season series this year 2-1, so they don't have the tiebreaker. Warriors don't have the tiebreaker on Denver, don't have a tiebreaker on the Lakers. Lakers won the season series 3-1, even with the Warriors winning the finale of both those season series. 14-0 record with the starting lineup of Steph, Draymond, Jimmy, Moses Moody, and Brandon Pajemski. And the Warriors also got a comeback win tonight, a 16th comeback win from trailing by double digits. Who says the Warriors can't win comeback games? They did so tonight. Steph, game high 36, 1 point shy of, he passed Jerry West for 25th. He's 1 point shy. His first basket, he'll pass Reggie Miller for 24th. So, I mean, you think of these names. Like, he's, I mean, yeah, I didn't move past Jerry West tonight, all-time scoring. Yeah, I moved past Reggie Miller tonight, all-time scoring. Pretty impressive stuff for one of the all-time greats. And you look at Steph, the third straight 30 or more. He had the 50 mixed in there. He's averaging 41.7 in the last 3 games against Memphis, the Lakers, and Denver tonight. Pajemski with 26, third 20-point performance in the last 4 games. He's averaging 22.3 in the last 4 games. Jimmy Butler, 19 points, 3 rebounds, 5 assists, season high 5 steals. And we talked about the Pajemski numbers. The Pajemski numbers with Jimmy, and he's been awesome. Gordo, thank you. Appreciate you, brother. Have a great night. Gordo checking out here. He did the double dip. Love everybody who did the double dip. And Pajemski, over 41% from 3 during the span of Jimmy Butler being on the Warriors. So that's it for our Fun with Numbers. Let's get some Kyle's clicks here as we call it a night from Harmonic and Thrive City. We haven't seen Billy Joe and Alamo. So Billy Joe, man, I cheers, brother, but I gotta start working on this Pilsner, man. Carlos Guido, that mid-range elbow jumper is a weapon for pods. Yeah, we talked about this a little bit last week. Pajemski is better. It feels like the tougher the shot is, the more apt to make it he is, right? Mid-range elbow jumper, pull-up, 50 dribbles, kind of fading. Oh, that one goes in. If there's a kryptonite for pods, sometimes it's the wide-open corner 3 off a perfect Jimmy Butler pass, but he's been making all of those lately too. So good nod to Carlos there in the chat. Couple of more here before we call it a night on Sounds or on Dubs OT and the Kyle's Clicks frame of the show. Bees Knees, I will buy a Bradley Beal jersey if we win a championship. Yeah, does Bradley Beal get a ring? 808 KNBR. Does Bradley Beal get a ring if the Warriors win a title? Because he single-handedly prevented Jimmy Butler from being a Phoenix Sun. If Bradley Beal didn't have a no-trade clause, Jimmy Butler would be on the Suns. Like that is, and maybe the Warriors are where the Suns are in the standings, and that would be that'd be a tough night. So yeah, that's a good one. Bees Knees. Read the Steed. Okay, but would the Giants have won today if Kuminga didn't play? Let's discuss again. 808 KNBR. 808 KNBR when the Giants have won today if Kuminga didn't play. Let's discuss. That's coming up in about 2.5 days on Murph and Marcus here on the Sports Leader. Continuing on, these are great tonight, by the way. Drop Top Fab 916, drinking some Trulies and shooting like Curry, playing beer pong right now. Do it, Drop Top. Sounds like, Drop Top Fab 916 is doing it like we do it in the home studio on the nights where we're not here at Harmonic in Thrive City. EB here, Dubs OT with JD and Kyle is kicking ass and taking names. You bet your ass we are. We are on a 4-month run of like whatever. We had a tough show. I'm gonna let everybody behind the curtain. We had a tough show the night that the Warriors played in Denver. This was in December. This is like after the Niners are getting their ass kicked in Buffalo. And right after that, Warriors blew a lead late in Denver. We had a tough show. It was, I was out of sorts. Kyle was out of sorts. Greg Silver was doing shows with Greg Papa. Like, everything's in shambles, right? Like, what's going on here? Like, we're learning. Since that night, it was like, I think there's only one explanation as to why the shows have been so great since then, Kyle. It has to be that the next night is when Kyle Chung just started coming in and hanging out, because his impact, his aura, the Kyle Chung aura has just made Dubs OT into everything it's become. EB here, you're right about that. All right, couple more here. Kyle, by the way, shout out Kyle Chung. Saw him at the Giants game today. It was great to see Kyle Chung stopping by for a couple of minutes. All right, and is JD going to shut down Harmonic? Yeah, we're practically doing that right now. Grace is looking at me like, all right, JD, let's go. Let's keep it moving. Alex about to just close the laptop, and it's going to be a wrap. Billy Joe leaving me hanging. I was going to save this one for Billy Joe, and now I got to drink it, so I'm a little behind in my consumption. San Jose Jazz fan 4. Nico Mannion walked so Brandon Pachipsky could run. How is that not the comment of the night? All right, let's get to comment of the night, and are we gonna do the series of? All right, comment of the night, a little different. It's going to be a bunch of them. But the comment of the night is going to be, so in the chat, it devolves into its own thing sometimes or evolves into its own thing. Tonight, it was just a random list of like a bunch of former Warrior players. So Kyle's got the best of that, and then we're out of here. Go for it. Joe Barry Carroll.
Now,
yes. Okay, good one. Bobby Sura.
OT comment of the night.
Purvis Short. Good one. Great. I'm Damian Jones. Damian Lee. Shout out. Quinn Cook. Jeremy Lin. Nick Young, that's a good one. Do we have a Chris Gatling? Ian Clark. Nate Robinson. Yeah, people forget Nate Robinson. Don't forget Charles Jenkins, though. Or Ekpe Udoh. Daniel Marshall would eat at TGIF in Oakland every night. That's great. Great Daniel Marshall knowledge from back when.
I hope this didn't start because I showed a comment about Anthony Lamb and that I think that was the turning point of the chat and it just started spiraling down. A bunch of names that I've forgotten and a bunch of names I didn't know.
Honorable mentions to Eric Pascal, Kevin Willis, Muggsy Bogues, all honorable mentions. Alan Smiley-Geach, Victor Alexander. Yeah, another good old school one. We'll end it on that note. Kyle, great stuff, my man. We appreciate you. For Ryan McCarthy. Who else did we have in studio?
Raph.
Oh, yeah, Raph. Nobody. That's right. It was all Kyle and Ryan basically all day.
I got to meet JT.
Everybody went to
the I got to meet JT.
Because everybody went to the Giants game. And, yeah, for FP and JT, I'm JD. We'll talk to you tomorrow 10 to noon and on Sunday for Dubs OT here on the Sports Leader. Good night.
Butler with the good hands. Steph on a relocate three. That is crazy. His relocates. The degree of difficulty is unbelievable, and he makes it look easy.
Emirates Cup or bust.
Oh, hell yeah.
First of all, you got to start off liking each other.
I'm super cereal.
Big fat dub.
Ain't nobody going to stop me.
I just wake up and I can shoot it no matter if I'm playing or not.
But great win.
JD. Bye, sugar.
I can see the headline now. Kerr says Warriors better without Curry.
Jimmy freaking Butler puts it in.
Everything's gonna be all right.